Hi, it's Jen at Tie-Dye Diva Patterns, and I'm going to show you sitting in a sleeve. I've got my sleeve right side out, my bodice wrong side out, so that when I put the sleeve inside, the right sides together. Also, I'm making sure that my two notches are in the back, matched up with my two notches of the back bodice, and my single notches matching up in front. So we're going to match up the bottom seam up to the notch. There's no easing in here, so I'm going to pin this just kind of quickly. And the other part I'm going to pin quickly is the notch at the top of the sleeve cap and the shoulder seam. Get that lined up, okay. Now this is the part that's been giving people trouble. The sleeve is a little bit bigger than the bodice along the stitching line. It's a lot bigger than the bodice along the edge of the fabric. So the point here with these lines that I've stitched on here is just to show you where the sewing line is. You're not going to have these lines, but look for that invisible line at a 1/2 inch and remember that that is what you're pinning together. So when you put your pins in, you're going to line up the edges, but you're going to pin here, grabbing the stitching line at a 1/2 inch and just pinning that part together. I'm also scooching in a little more of my sleeve with my thumb here because there is a little bit more even at the stitching line of sleeve than arm's eye. So each time just putting those stitching lines together with the pins. And you can see doing it that way, I don't have a big gap at the end. Okay, I'm just going to do this other side real quick. And same way, I think you've seen enough of that. So I'm going to finish pinning this and we'll go sew it up. Okay, now we're going to sew it together using that 1/2 inch seam allowance. I have my bodice fabric against the feed dogs. A lot of times if you're easing in a sleeve, you'll want to turn it so that your sleeve is against the feed dogs. It helps ease the sleeve in. There's not a lot of ease in this sleeve, and I think this way you have better control over looking at the sleeve and making sure there aren't any puckers in it. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this arm's eye down right along these lines that I made just to show you where the stitching line is. So the reason I'm boring you to tears showing you all of my sewing here is I want you to see that there really is not a lot of ease in this sleeve. I'm almost to the sleeve cap here. I've got a little tiny bit extra sleeve, but not much. And when we're all done, that's all going to be sewn in flat. So you want to go slow. You can see outside my seam allowance, I've got some buckling there, but there's no buckles inside the seam allowance, so we're going to have a nice smooth sleeve join. Almost done. Once we're at this notch, we're home free. I'm just going to turn it the right side out and check it for any puckers. So you're seeing the thread because that's the one that I used to show you where the stitching line is. You can see where the sleeve joins the bodice. We have no puckers in the bodice or in the sleeve. Once we press that, that's going to be just beautiful.